Hello, this is Stephanie from mypastthecpaexam.com. I would like to walk you through the latest Gleim CPA Review System and highlight the important features in this learning tool. This is Gleim.com. Once we are logged in, it shows the review materials we have purchased. For me, it's FAR for CPA exam and Part 1 for CMA exam. I'm going to show you the Premium CPA Review course in this video. This is the Study Unit Selection menu under Gleim Online. There are 20 modules and a final review for practice 1 week before the exam. Before the studying begins, you can plan and schedule using this online study planner. It is November 5th, and I plan to study today. The exam is scheduled on January 19 next year. Realistically, you're not going to study every day, so you can mark the blackout dates that you are aware of. For example, I know I won't be able to study this Saturday, and also the week around Christmas. If I plan to take one day off out of every week, for example, Sunday is my family day and I cannot study, it can be marked off on the next page. We'll need to estimate how many hours each day we can study. For Sunday, I leave it as 0 for family day. So this is the overview of my study plan. The study start date is November 5th, exam day is January 19th, and I plan to study for 20 hours per week. Once you have entered the data, the system generates a timetable. My schedule allows more than 2 months of studying, but as you can see, it's still quite tight because I only have 2 to 3 days for each subunit. This reminder option is going to be very helpful, as the system will send me an email whenever I'm off schedule or have a weaker area that I need to focus on. As you progress with your studying, the timetable will be filled with different colors and symbols as shown in this legend, so you can have a quick look and see whether you're on track or if there are weaker areas that you need to work on. This study planner is very user-friendly and powerful, and I hope you'll make good use of it. Now, let's move on to the course. Check on this tab, and you'll see how the review system is divided into 3 steps: Diagnostics, Comprehension, and Application. In the Diagnostics section, you'll be asked to take a mini-test in the form of 20 multiple-choice questions in order to estimate the existing knowledge you have on the materials. This can help determine whether you can skip some of the reviews in the second step. In the Comprehension section, there is audio-visual presentation, instructor video, audio review, and some practice questions and ebook. You don't need to go through all of them, and the system will guide you how to make use of these materials. The application section refers to the simulation questions on Gleim Online and 2 sets of multiple-choice questions in the test prep. Lastly, you can work on the final review 1 week before the exam. Let's take a look at Step 1, the Diagnostics in Gleim Online. I've completed this part of the studying, but to show you again, here are questions presented in a format similar to the actual exam environment. You can select an answer and move on to the next. You won't be able to check the answer until the 20 questions are completed. The horizontal bar here are flags that you can use to mark any questions for any reason. For example, if you aren't sure about it and want to go back to this question later. Once you complete the section, press Grade and you'll get an instant result and check your answers accordingly. Step 2 is a comprehension. You can select either the audio-visual presentation or the new Gleim Instruct video series. I'm going to show you both. Gleim Instruct videos features Dr. Prasad Dean, a professor in accounting and once a student of Gleim himself. The videos are pre-recorded lectures covering key concepts. I'm going to show you the subtopic on recognition and measurement concepts in Chapter 1.
Recognition criteria determine whether and when items should be incorporated into the financial statements. This is very important because not all items are incorporated into financial statements at the same time. So it's important that we understand this criteria. 4 fundamental recognition criteria apply to all recognition issues. First, the item must meet the definition of an element of financial statement. 2, it must have a relevant attribute measurable with sufficient reliability. The third one is the information about it must be relevant, that is, capable of making a difference in user decisions. And fourth, the information must be reliable. That is, it must be representationally faithful, verifiable, and neutral.
The biggest difference between Gleim Instruct and the audiovisual presentation is that the professor goes over examples and multiple choice questions. Let's see how he goes through a practice question with us.
According to the FASB's conceptual framework, man, we're doing a lot of FASB stuff, right? According to the FASB's conceptual framework, which of the following attributes should not be used? Which attribute should not be used to measure inventory? Is that one difficult for you too? I have to pause on that one. Historical cost, replacement cost, net realizable value, present value of future cash flows. Well, we know when you use the inventory methods of first in, first out, or FIFO, last in, first out, or LIFO, or the average cost, that's actually historical cost. So we know that's a good one, right? So that cannot be the answer. That's one of the attributes that we use to measure inventory, historical cost. How about replacement costs? Yep, that's also one that we use. Why? Because remember when we do lower of cost or market? Lower of cost or market takes in consideration replacement costs. Net realizable value. Are you certain? Yes, we use that one. How do we use net realizable value? Because when we take our inventory, we want to take a look at inventory and see, well, what is it? This is what it costs us, but is there a cost to dispose of it? When we subtract that cost from it, then we get net realizable value. So yes, that is a good one. So even if you were struggling with this one like I was, you can back into this D right here. Say present value of future cash flows. That is correct answer for this question. But why is it correct? I know you know the term. I know you know the phrase, present value of future cash flows. We do not use that to measure inventory. Instead, we use that to measure long-term assets and long-term liabilities because we want to know what those future assets and liabilities are worth today. So yes, it is used, but not for inventory. So your correct answer for this question is D.
If you get the traditional Gleim Review course that do not come with the instructor video, you can watch and learn from the audio-visual video which I'm going to show you.
The 8th subunit is recognition and measurement concepts. These concepts state fundamental recognition criteria and guidance on what information should be formally incorporated into financial statements and when. Recognition criteria are applied to determine whether and when items should be incorporated into the financial statements, either initially or as changes in existing items. The fundamental criteria are 1. The item must meet the definition of an element of financial statements. 2. The item must have a relevant attribute measurable with sufficient reliability. 3. The information must be relevant. And 4. The information must be reliable.
Step 2C is a set of 30 true-false study questions. They are all conceptual in nature and is meant to test your understanding of the fundamentals. Answers are provided for immediate feedback. Step 2D is a knowledge transfer outline, which essentially means the textbook in electronic format. The level of detail is similar to the Wiley textbook in my opinion. You can print and save the file for future reference. Step 2E is the second set of multiple choice questions. By now, you should have a more solid knowledge on the study materials and hopefully perform better in this set. The better performance is encouraging and it helps motivate you to continue the studying. After going through Step 1 and Step 2 of the module, you should be well prepared to put the theories into practice. Step 3 starts with simulation questions. Sims are condensed case studies for examiners to evaluate your knowledge in a specific area. In the Gleim CPA Review System, you can only attempt each simulation question 3 times. Please spend the time to read through these lengthy explanations. You want to do this now instead of on the exam day. Also, click around and check out the different features including the unsplit and split format, calculator, and a spreadsheet. Let's look at the first question. You can use the flag if you want to mark this question for later checking. Let's go to the second question. You'll need to look up the authoritative literature to find out the answer. It's a good idea to practice using the search function for this type of exercise. Once we are done, click on Exit and look at the result. Now, let's take a look at the CPA test prep. Gleim has the largest database of practice questions, so you should really make good use of it. The Gleim Review System suggests that you complete 2 sets of practice questions, but I encourage that you work on as many as possible. Some of the questions can be quite tricky and look off track, but this trains you to think on your feet and to think a bit out of the box when you get stuck with odd questions on the exam day. You can create a practice exam, a study section, and keep track using this performance analysis. The format is the same as the multiple choice questions we went through earlier in the video. The Sim Wizard is a database of simulation questions that you can work on after the review is done. It works the same way as the Sims I showed you earlier in this video. Lastly, I'd like to show you these 2 types of additional learning tools. The audio review is available for convenient download. It works in iPad, iPhones, Android phones, and most portable devices. It is also available for both Windows and Mac versions. As for the exam rehearsal, it is essentially the mock exam, and you should do this 1 week before your actual exam. It helps you identify any weaker areas that you may have, and still have a few days to improve your performance. I hope this video summarizes the features and the flow of Gleim CPA Review System. If you have any questions, please drop me a note in the comment section, and I'll be happy to get an answer for you. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.